The podcast you are about to listen to is one of the many podcasts that is part of the College Huddle, the largest fan-led college sports podcast community on the internet. Fan-made, fan-driven, and fan-fueled. The College Huddle.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free.
Okay, next question.
I'm a horse football coach right now.
You know, it got shoved up, shoved it up. It got shoved, right?
Yes. Football is back on the banks of the Red Cedar. After a week hiatus, the Michigan State Spartans are back at it in East Lansing. We, too, here at the Spartan Savants are back at it as well. Willy, of course, joined by my two favorite Spartans, Nicky and Trav. I've got a great show here for you guys. Just got off with the 12 Saturdays Iowa podcast for the College Huddle, previewing the Iowa game. Hope everyone gives that a listen. Joel and Tori, great guys, great insight and some good Michigan State Iowa stories there. But I want to check in with, of course, my two great colleagues, Nicky and Trav. Nicky, how are things going?
Just chilling, killing. We got a little existential dread going on from Aiden Hutchinson, but just ready for some football. Another night game. Another night game. Night game number 5 of 7.
Woo. Yep.
I like to call our podcast 9 Saturdays because we have 3 Fridays as well.
Yeah, what a treat. What a treat. There goes Trav. So yeah, before we get into Michigan State and more night game talk and all that, obviously the Aiden Hutchinson news, you guys all know we're big Lions fans. Hard to ignore what happened on Sunday. I personally am sick to my stomach. Just the worst thing that could happen to the Lions outside of a Goff injury or Penei Sewell injury. The absolute worst thing that could happen to the Lions. I don't even have words. I'm just sick.
Yeah, I worked about 10 minutes away on Monday from where he was staying in the hospital, and I really should have stopped by and given him some flowers. Maybe some
Maybe a
cookies
leg.
that well soon. Yeah, a leg would have probably been helpful. It's just I trust in Brad to make some moves. I don't know if it'll be the biggest splash in the world, but I think, the office has got to know they got to do better than a practice squad guy.
Agreed.
There is a defensive end in our backyard. Some called him Aiden Hutchinson with a worse PR team. His name is Kenny Willekes from the Michigan Panthers. So
you gotta give him a look.
You gotta make a
Give him
call.
a shot.
Yeah,
Come on, good mistake.
Travis,
mistake.
welcome. Travis, how are you doing?
Yeah, obviously having some internet issues, but other than that, it's been pretty good. I was actually at the Lions game on Sunday, so it was interesting to say the least. There was a lot of Jared Goff chants going on.
Nice.
One of them even broke out at the urinals, so
Okay.
that was pretty cool. There was a guy, Lions fan, that wouldn't stop talking trash and was challenging fans or Dallas fans to one-on-one fights in the standing room section. That was pretty cool. Except he wouldn't shut up. He wouldn't shut up when Hutch was down. Everybody was telling him he was being an asshole and telling him to shut up, and he was like, "No, you're the fucking asshole." Like, yeah. He almost got thrown out. But he was also very, very funny.
Nice.
And then when we were up like 40-9, the Jared Goff chants turned into Jerry Jones chants. And, it was. And then we found out it was Jerry's birthday and started singing "Happy Birthday."
That's
because
very
it was
funny.
a hell of a birthday present.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not sure I've ever felt worse after a 40-7 or whatever it was a win. Obviously the
47-9,
names for 47-9. lots of names thrown out to replace Hutchinson. Nick, like you said, I don't think it's going to be one of the big names like Myles Garrett or
Crosby.
Max Crosby.
Yeah.
Who is on your guys' wish list? I mean, outside of those two that everybody would want.
Zadarius Smith, maybe? I don't know. That's not a bad option.
With him, I want someone else as well. Like,
yeah. I mean, I'm now that you say it, I'm like totally drawing a blank on all this stuff that I saw on Twitter today.
I saw that
what are your guys' thoughts on Hassan Reddick? Like, I would take him.
Yeah,
I would take him.
that
But,
one
like,
too. Yeah.
He is like an anti-lion.
Yeah, there's that. I would take him at the right price. I think the upside is close to what they need.
Yeah.
You can't replace Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, he was on pace for the single season sack record. His stats were through the roof.
Defensive player of the year.
There's not a player. I mean, Crosby probably would be the one guy that you'd say, oh, Crosby or Garrett, maybe. You'd say, okay, you're probably going to get similar production, but there's not a guy out there that is going to, especially in terms of leadership and what it means to the team, there's not someone out there that they can get. I would say just get the best player you can at the right price. I mean, for me, I'm not a big guy. I do not care about a first-round pick next year that's going to be 28
Not
to
at
30.
this point, no.
We give up a comedic amount. Like,
I really do not care. I don't know if you have to say mortgage the future, but if it takes a first-round pick and a second-round pick, whatever it may be, just get it done. I mean, I don't know if it's Reddick or I saw they reached out to the Jets on Reddick. Everything kind of seems a little quiet on that front right now, at least. So I think they'll give us some time. But the trade deadline's coming up in like 3 weeks here, so
yeah, it's November 5th.
Yeah, big one versus the Vikings this week. Big one.
Yeah. Did not expect that at the beginning of the season. Let me tell you,
that game. I would almost trade. I'm not even going to say it, but
you already started. You might as well.
But let's just say Michigan State's got to win on Saturday. Because waking up on Sunday after a night game loss is going to be scary.
Yeah, it'll be a quick turnaround. Won't have much time to dwell on that before the Lions start to stress you out. With the
at least that's a noon game this week. Yeah,
the only day games we get now. Unfortunately,
the team that probably should be playing at night.
Right? Yeah. So with that, we're gonna get into Iowa. But I want to talk a little bit about basketball. Michigan State played at the Superior Dome in Marquette, Michigan, the UP, close to where Tom Izzo's from. They retired his number, a whole big thing. We don't need to get into takeaways or anything, but I don't know how much of the broadcast you guys watch, but I mean, Tom Izzo got his day in Northern Michigan.
Yeah, he did, and that was great to see. I mean, the guy deserves it, and he's been given some flack lately. But it was cool to see, and I think some of the stories they were telling, whether it was his phone call with Mariucci, and that some of the stories they were telling during the broadcast were just awesome to hear, and exactly what you would kind of expect from the kind of guy he is and the kind of coach he's been.
Yeah, it was really more of like a Tom Izzo celebration than a basketball game.
Yeah, exactly.
They just weren't showing the game for probably about 1/3 of it. It was just a close-up of Tom Izzo on the phone with Steve Mariucci going,
yeah.
We're back at the time in 76 when we were cruising down 75, smoking our dubers, talking about old Larry.
Old Larry.
Up in Lake Superior. And just,
crazy Larry.
Like, and I mean, they're just going on and on. Every commercial break, just another one of Tom Izzo's teammates decked out in Michigan State gear. Like, Tom, he didn't like losing. He did not like, we lost to Marquette that year, and we were saying, dang it, he should have won. Got a lot of that. Freshman looks good.
Yeah, I thought there was Richardson. I thought made some nice shots. It was a made-for-TV event. I feel like it was just like a Tom Izzo honorary deal, which was fine. I mean, it was. I mean, I'm a big Tom Izzo fan, so I ate it up. I liked the bits of like the skit that hit Mariucci on the phone.
That was
the long hair. It was good.
The mustache.
Yeah, I like bits.
Then they called the Northern Michigan coach who's talking for like a half hour of how much Tom Izzo meant to him.
I mean, not a lot of basketball being shown, which is why I just don't really care to get into the whole thing. I mean, you would like to see Michigan State put up more than like 67 points on Northern Michigan, but
Tom wasn't even coaching. Like he literally,
I was gonna say,
literally was just getting interviewed on TV.
It was half-assed game effort.
Yeah, totally.
It was all for festivities. Nothing more.
Yeah. Well, so let's get to the main event. Michigan State back on the football field after a bye week and 2 tough losses. Like I mentioned, we did a preview episode with the 12 Saturdays guys, Tori and Joel, kind of getting their thoughts in the whole a view of the Iowa football team and where they think they stack up and how they think they're going to do. But obviously, we want to give our thoughts as well for the Michigan State side. So, Nicky, I'll start with you. Where's the head at as we head into a big one in Iowa, a big one against Iowa, I should say.
Well, we got to wait around all day. Sorry in advance to Georgia and Texas. I know a lot of fans are wanting to watch that game, but the varsity game's on instead at night again. So people will be tuning into that. This, man, we all knew the Boston College game was going to be important because the vibes just feel so negative after getting us blown out so many times. That bye week was needed. I saw an interview with Childs, and he put it best. Like, it's a new season. It's got to go 6-0. Montori Foster was interviewed saying, we were so close to being 6-0. I don't agree with that, but you can say we were so close to being 4-2. But there have been many. It seems there have been many games where Iowa is the team where we kind of put it together. We just have to show up, play clean. This would be a great time for Childs to really show us what he's made of. Kind of like Maryland, but a little bit less mistakes because Iowa's going to feast on mistakes like they did against Washington. And this is a team I do think we can out-talent them, and that's kind of how you got to do it. Got to play clean and out-talent them.
Yeah, great points. Travis.
Yeah, I guess it's obviously a big game. We've been talking about it as possibly a must-win, especially as a tone setter for the rest of the season and going towards bowl eligibility, especially with all these ranked teams coming up that we didn't expect to be ranked. And we talked about it on the other preview episode with 12 Saturdays. It's been kind of one of those mini rivalries that just gives fans these really close games and these really competitive games. But the one thing I don't understand is if you look at like the odds calculator or whatever, the game predictor or whatever from ESPN, it's only given us a 29.2% chance to win this game. What universe are they looking at where we only have 29.2% chance of winning a home game after a bye week against a somewhat mediocre team? I guess they're probably better than mediocre, but
they might be pretty good.
The way we've been talking, they've been good at times, but not consistently. Let's put it that way. But the way, like, the three of us have been talking about it is all these games on the schedule are winnable, and then you look at all these numbers and it just says, oh, not going to win that one, not going to win that one. So, it's just it bugs me that stuff's out there that way because we clearly have a shot in this game. But it's, we haven't played well the past couple of weeks. They have a really good running back that we need to show up with our run defense like we did the first 4 games. But I think we'll be fine, and it's obviously winnable game.
Yeah, I mean, I was less than a touchdown favorite. I would put it higher than 29%, probably 60-40, I think. The running back, Caleb Johnson, is an issue. You saw what the guy from Oregon did to us. If I was Ohio State, I'd be licking or Iowa, I'd be licking my chops at what they can do, because Caleb Johnson's probably better
Defensively,
probably better than that running back at Oregon. Iowa, they run the football. That's what they do. So he's rushed for almost 1,000 yards. He's averaging almost 8 yards a carry. He's got 12 TDs. Based on what I saw versus Oregon, I'm concerned. The defense has done well all season, so they're gonna need to step up and get kind of back, like you said, to where they were the first 4 games, stopping the run. I think it should be a little better. It should be a little easier to stop the run this week, given that we don't have to be as concerned about the pass. Obviously, Cade McNamara, the quarterback for Iowa, we are familiar with his game. He's only thrown 5 touchdown passes. He's had 3 interceptions, all of which came against Ohio State. But to go back to the touchdowns, he's only thrown 1 passing touchdown versus a Power 4 football team. So he is truly a game manager in every sense of the word. Yeah. So I think the game plan this week's got to be, focused on stopping the run, which they've shown at times that they've been able to do. Oregon, Ohio State, not great examples, but the previous 4 games, especially Boston College, being a good example. Kind of a big one here. I think, Nick, you used the term BOGO last week. Win this one, see us beating Michigan. Is your head still in the same? You still thinking BOGO here?
Yeah, why not?
I like a good BOGO.
No,
great deal.
I'll piggyback on that. Yeah, I'll concur.
Yeah.
One thing we must do, I think I said this earlier, we just simply must finish drives.
Yes.
Because we get to the red zone a pretty good amount.
Yeah.
Like those turnovers, like if we limit that, which is obviously easier said than done, but like just play a little bit more solid together, we could really make some stuff go. We can make some stuff happen. Like start clicking, get short passes. We need Childs to run a lot, I think. Get that option. We kind of got to play like Boston College or FAU in a way where, because our run game is just so abhorrent, we got to just find a way to get them concerned about some sort of run game, whether it's Childs running around, maybe that'll get K'Ron Lynch or even Nate Carter kind of some less eyes on them if they want to run.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I definitely would like to see some more design runs for Childs. That I think that could throw them off a little bit. Tori and Joel both kind of mentioned, athletic quarterbacks can give Iowa some problems. I think we stack up fairly evenly with them. They're averaging 29.2 points a game. Now that 40, they've scored 40 against Illinois State, 38 against Troy, 31 against Minnesota, and then 40 on a fairly good Washington team. Certainly not last year's team, but a respectable Washington team. So it's not all coming against bad teams, but 40 and Illinois State, 38 against Troy. Michigan State averaging just under 20 points a game, but also the last 2 games they've scored 17 points combined. So that was against the number 2 team in the country, the number 3 team in the country. So a little asterisk next to that one, I would say. Third down percentage, they're 45%, we're 41%. They're 0 for 3 on fourth down, and we are 6 for 8, so like 66.67% precisely.
We're 6 for 8 on fourth down,
something like that. We're 66 per 2/3. Nice. Yeah, they're averaging.
That's good news.
Yeah, they're averaging 357 yards a game, and we're averaging just under 350. So pretty even in terms of that. In terms of the statistics. Obviously one thing that people always talk about with Iowa is the defense. And Nicky touched on it a bit. The turnovers, the mistakes, that's where they will pounce. And we just have to be able to hold on to the football, especially in the red zone. This is a game where field goals, this is not like Ohio State and Oregon where field goals were not going to win you the game. Field goals, I think, special teams, field goals, they can make a difference in this game. So if we are in the red zone in Jonathan Kim's territory, holding onto the football has to be paramount.
Yeah, and speaking of finishing, we can't let them get any of those special teams touchdowns like they did last year. That was a huge game changer. We were in a perfect position to win that game on the road and just completely blew it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Cannot shoot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah, and I mean that's where you got to remember we have a chance because we were in a position to win that game last year against a similar Iowa team at Iowa where our coach was fired. We sucked, and everyone's NIL deal got pulled 12 hours earlier.
Yeah. That was that week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Remember that? I remember seeing that update, being like, "Oh, come on!
What the hell are we doing here?" Yeah.
Can't wait till maybe not the day before the game to have this news.
I'm pretty sure it was like they were on the flight there or whatever, and
the day off.
They got off the plane and they were like, "Oh, no NIL anymore." Okay,
just a comedy of errors last season. But you're right, we were right there in that game, and I think this team is better than last year's team, and Iowa I think is probably similar to what they were last year, maybe a little better, but they don't have Cooper DeJean anymore. I'm sure that they have replaced him with a fairly talented cornerback, but Joel talked about it. Special teams touchdown is something we have to avoid because those are killers, not only just because the other team gets a touchdown, but for the flow of the game and momentum, whether you get a blocked punt or a blocked field goal or you give up a punt return, kick return, that's just crushing to the team. And we've had so many of those crushing moments. Childs fumbling on the goal line versus Oregon, Childs throwing an interception here late in the game, or getting a stop on defense and turning it right back over. We have got to avoid letting them have the big swinging plays like that, and get something going on offense for God's sakes. The run game, it's been non-existent for 3 weeks, and it's hard to win without a run game.
Yeah, especially at Iowa, it's going to be a totally physical game like we've been talking about the past few weeks. They're always one of those smash mouth blue collar teams. Then like we talked about with the 12 Saturdays guys, it's Iowa and Michigan State are built very similarly, recruit similar types of guys. That's kind of what fuels what's going on the field for both programs and within the mini rivalry, and then also back with the turnovers. Cade McNamara does turn the ball over, so if we can get that into positive territory for us, that's a huge win.
Yeah, we have been pretty good at, not amazing, but pretty decent at forcing turnovers.
At forcing them, but we're still losing the turnover battle every game.
Yeah.
You can be good at forcing turnovers, but you can't be giving the ball right back. I mean,
I agree with you there. But I do think if we limit their explosiveness and get them to the red zone, our red zone defense has been pretty good. I believe the majority of the points that are against us are just explosive plays. So if we can limit that, turn their touchdowns into field goals.
Yeah. We have a couple goal line stands this year.
Yep.
Yeah. We can get the enchilada. We can
the whole enchilada. That's right. Well, especially this series too. If you look back in the history, it is a lot of one score close games. Last year obviously was a very close game. Penalties and then that punt return killed us. We missed a field goal. Our freshman year was 7-6 game, or 13-12, something like that. Obviously 2015 Big Ten championship.
Yeah,
came down to basically the final play. There's just a lot of games in the series that come down to a possession, really. So if you're stopping them in their touchdowns turning into field goals, and then you got to convert in the red zone too, either to get a touchdown or when you're in the red zone, you got to get points because this game's going to come down to a possession most likely.
Yeah, they're very few games that I remember against Iowa that were true blowouts either direction.
Right.
Yeah. And then another thing in terms of tone setting, we mentioned this on the other episode as well. Iowa is a team that other teams looking to set the tone or looking to have a special season usually beat, and that kind of sets them up on a trail of success. So that's the kind of opportunity we have here right now. Obviously, it's not going to be a special season in terms of Big Ten championship aspirations or whatever, but it can be a huge building block for the future of what this program can look like.
No question. I mean, it truly is a must-win game, if you ask me. I mean, you lose this one. It's not to say, the season's over, but just staring down the schedule of what's next. It's not. There's no gimmies outside of Purdue. Tone setting, absolutely have to get back on track with this one.
If you lose this game, the 50-50 games turn into we're probably going to lose games.
Yeah.
Just
you got to keep those at a coin flip.
Like bowl.
That's how you stay afloat. That's how you make bowl games.
And it just continues the losing culture of the team. Team the past 3 years. This roster knows losing.
Yeah,
this roster knows sadness.
Yep. This is one where if you win in a year or two, you might look back and say that's when things started to turn around. This one really is a win is going to really put some wind back in the sails. As a Spartan fan, and a loss is going to be pretty dejecting, I would say. It'll feel like a setback. Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think that matters how it comes either way.
Right. Yeah. Yep, I agree. Anything else you guys wanted to touch on? Obviously, we got pretty in depth on the Iowa side with the 12 Saturdays guys. That episode will be released shortly after this one, similar to the Ohio State preview. But anything else on Iowa that you guys have that we haven't touched on yet?
Yeah. So the mess with Michael Masmunis hurt. Brennan Parachek, show us what you got, baby.
Yeah. Those guys were in pretty close competition. So.
Brennan Parachek seems like a guy who would go off against Iowa.
Yeah, I would love for the tight ends going. Yeah, I mean, Velling or Parachek, maybe both. I would love to get the tight ends going because I feel like that's been a bit disappointing thus far.
Yeah, that could open up the offense pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Open up passing game and the running game, both of them. Just give the guys room to run, keep the defense on his toes. Open up the middle of the field. Yeah.
Are we getting anyone back from injury? Jordan Hall, I know, coming back. Anyone on the offensive line coming back?
I think they're all
season enders. Yeah.
No, that's nice.
That's another thing we should touch on. I'm interested to see what combination they throw out there coming off the bye week and what kind of changes they have in personnel and in their approach and everything like that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
This is going to be good to see in the coaches, like how they make adjustments.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They
at least like a coaching staff that would, unlike some certain coaching staffs.
Yeah.
Hazelton.
Yeah. So big one in East Lansing this weekend. I know that I feel like the players got to be itching to play coming up a bye week. It was nice to read that they kind of got away from football for a little bit, let the players have some days to rest. I know the fans will be ready. Homecoming under the lights. You can't really ask for much more in terms of the vibes and getting the team going coming up a bye week than that. So hopefully the guys show up. I mean, I like you guys have said, I think it's a winnable game. It's a great opportunity to get the season back on track and pump some life back into the program.
Yeah, it's one where a win could go very, very, very far.
Yep, absolutely. So with that, obviously there's a whole slate of other college football games that we'll get to watch before this one because we have another night game, obviously, again. And we'll have another night game next week. against Michigan. But what game, Nicky, are you looking forward to most outside of the big one in East Lansing?
Oh, I mean, the obvious one is Bama, Tennessee is pretty good too. I'll go Bama, Tennessee. That one will be good because that's not during our game either. I'll actually get to watch that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, the one that Nicky was obviously referring to was Texas and Georgia, which is at the same time as ours, which is what I will be watching during ours, unfortunately. Probably watching them simultaneously, to be honest. But let's see. I have not honestly looked at the schedule ahead of time, so let me see here. I guess could go. I hate to say this, but I could go where was it? Michigan and Illinois. See what Illinois got. See if they can piss off those assholes before we play them.
Always fun to root against them.
I mean, it's at Illinois. We have to play both teams in the coming weeks, so might as well get some looks at how those two teams are going to be going into our games against them.
Yeah, another Big Ten matchup I've got my eye on is Nebraska at Indiana. I think I haven't really watched Indiana play. I haven't really watched Nebraska play either. I think it's a noon kickoff, so I'm going to look forward to that one. Going to get my eye on those teams for the first time, and hopefully I'd like to see Indiana lose. I'm kind of tired of hearing about them, but I'm interested to see what all this hubbub is about.
Yeah.
Kind of the first time they've been tested.
I saw Curtis Rourke on the ESPN Heisman list, the top 5 for the Heisman. I was like, jeez, are you kidding?
Kind of
a little too much Indiana hype here.
Yeah.
6-0, Indiana can get their QB up there, but like Kenneth Walker, when we're like 9-0.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Can't get like anything.
It really shows you how big of a joke that it was that he wasn't even a finalist. I mean, it kind of like it makes my blood boil. You think about it like, how in the world was he not even in New York?
Yeah, you're about to see my computer fly across the room. Let's put it that way.
Like total joke. I mean, the Heisman Trophy just kind of it's just a quarterback award at this point. It's let's save that for another episode. But I think that brings us to Miss the Vis. No,
that was quick. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Miss the Vis.
All right, what do you got for me?
All right, so this week I'm only going to be five games. All are against Iowa. I'm going to give you the score, then I'll give you one hint.
Okay.
So, number 1.
Wait, what do I have to answer?
Yeah, what's he?
Year.
Year, okay.
So, I'll give you the score, then I'll give you a hint, and if you really need one more, then I'll give you a player on the team. First one, the score was 16-13, and this one's obvious. The only hint that I have, LJ Scott.
Okay, I didn't even need the hint. That was the Big Ten championship game.
All right, the next game.
2015.
Yeah.
I needed the year 2015, yeah.
The next one, the score, 16-13. This was homecoming, and Adam Decker saves the day.
Let's see. 2008.
That's correct.
Nice.
This one,
R.I.P. Adam Decker.
The score was 37-21, and all I have for this one, a Spartan win. Only one I have for this one is revenge.
Revenge. This is the toughest one yet. 37-21. 16. I don't know. That's all you got for that one?
Kirk Cousins was on the team.
Kirk Cousins. Okay. So that would have been 2011?
Correct.
Okay.
It's revenge because the year before was just.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to think of if we had been playing them every year at that point, or if it was.
That was
yeah.
I wanted to see if I could get that one, but I have 2 games left. Actually, I have 3 games left. I have 2 games left. So
Math
this
is hard.
score was 26-14. A Michigan State team with a few unimpressive victories and a struggling QB finally put it together against Iowa at Iowa. Score 2016-14.
You mean 26-14?
Yes.
You said 2016-14. Okay, 26-14. I'm probably not going to get this one. 2013.
You're correct.
Okay.
That was Connor Cook's coming out party. And now the final game. The score was 17-10. A turnover-prone 3-1 Michigan State team looked destined to repeat its previous disappointing season, but they had a gritty victory.
A lot of grit these days. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna need the player on that one.
Felton Davis.
Okay, so 2017.
That is correct. The clean sweep.
Yeah, those are we got to get better. I'm just running out of trivia items.
Yeah.
I
didn't want to ask for so many players, but then I was like, I'm not gonna get it. Need to protect the rep.
Yeah.
We'll work on it. We'll be maybe back to the drawing board on Miss the Vis. But it's tough coming up with questions. It's hard. There's not enough trivia just ready that I can just say, oh, let's just use this. It's not. Just want to make it easy for myself.
Fair. I do like when it like has some kind of theme with the game that's coming up.
Yeah.
That's a good bit.
Yep. All right. Into the picks.
Here comes the music.
Alrighty. A nice bounce back week for Trav last week, going 9-6.
Yep.
Nicky 7-8.
Yep.
Willy 6-9. There you go. The standings there.
All is right in the world.
Travis is back on top. A lot of trading places here, but Nicky and I right behind. All right.
Let's put it this way. You don't want to bet with the Savants.
No.
What's your Winston last week?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. They'll put that on my grave. 13-1 week 6. All right, starting this week off, one of the games I mentioned, Nebraska Cornhuskers traveling to Bloomington, Indiana to take on the 16th ranked Hoosiers. The Fighting Kurt Signettis are 6.5-point favorites in this one.
I'm just so tired of Indiana. Give me Nebraska. Good Lord. Somebody shut them up eventually.
6.5-point favorites? Give me a friggin' break. Give me the Cornhusker, please.
I, too, am going to take the Cornhuskers. All right. Trav, you mentioned this one. 24th ranked Michigan traveling to Champaign, Illinois to take on the 22nd ranked Fighting Illini. Michigan 3.5-point favorites.
Man, how are they favored on the road? Jesus. Y'all know my policy on picking Michigan, Illinois.
So I, at first thought, was thinking to pick Michigan, but Bert Bielema hates U of M. Like
You mean Brett?
Right. I don't know why. I always treat it as Bert. but he really detests Michigan. They tend to struggle there in Illinois. I'm going to go Illinois to cover at least.
All right.
Nice.
I hate doing this. This line is weird. I don't know why Michigan is favored on the road against a higher ranked team.
Don't you dare.
I'm going to pick Michigan here. Maybe pick up a game on YouTube. Next game, SEC, big one down there. 7th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide traveling to Knoxville to take on the 11th ranked Tennessee Volunteers. Alabama favored by 3 in this one.
I'm gonna go Tennessee.
I'm kind of with Vis. I feel like Bama has had almost 10 very bad quarters in a row.
Yeah, no question. This is a tough one. I like Jalen Milroe a lot. I think Bama's going to cover the 3 points. I'm going to go Bama. That's a tough one, though. They have not looked great past 2 weeks. All right. 14th ranked Texas A&M playing some good football there at College Station. The Aggies are 16-point favorites this week, traveling to Mississippi State.
Yeah, one of those teams I cover every Saturday is A&M, and Mississippi State, not a very good team. So we're going to go Aggies.
Mississippi State's not good. They play Georgia pretty tough. They've played a couple of decently close games. I'm gonna have them to cover, at least.
Yeah, I was impressed with Mississippi State against Georgia. I'm gonna go with Nicky here and have them covering at home. I'll go with the Bulldogs.
Yeah. A&M does not have very favorable success over in Starkville either, but I said what I said.
Okay, sticking in the SEC. LSU Tigers coming off a big win against Ole Miss, traveling to Fayetteville to take on the Arkansas Razorbacks. LSU favored by 2.5.
I think this could be a case of a little hangover here. I'm going to go Arkansas.
I'm going to go with the Tigers.
I'll break the tie. I'll go with the Tigers as well. I do think there's going to be a hangover for 3 quarters. I think LSU will take care of business late.
Fair.
All right, probably the biggest game of the week outside of Michigan State, Iowa, of course. The number 1 ranked team in the land, Texas Longhorns, traveling to Georgia to take on Kirby Smart's Bulldogs. Texas favored by 5 in this one on the road.
Texas is at home. But I am going to go. I think it's going to be closer than that. I think Georgia covers. I think Texas wins. Georgia covers.
I'm going to pick Georgia to cover as well, but I think Georgia's going to win.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Obviously, I got this one wrong. Texas is at home. Texas at home. I'm going to go with Texas. I think a late touchdown gets them a cover. Yeah. Okay. Oklahoma, coming off their loss to Texas, is a favorite on the road by 1.5, and they're traveling to South Carolina to take on the Gamecocks, who have been playing teams tough, but just coming up a little short. Travis, what do you got?
I'm tempted to take South Carolina, but I'm going to go with Oklahoma. That offense was very one-dimensional last week. But maybe they find something. I don't feel comfortable going the other way. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the cocky Bobakis. They're gonna help them.
They were good to you last week.
They've been waiting to pop.
Good one. That was good.
I don't know if we can air that.
I'll go Oklahoma. I think the defense is good enough to overcome the offensive struggles and take care of business. 12th ranked Notre Dame traveling to the rambling wreck of Georgia Tech. Notre Dame 11.5-point favorites.
I'll take Georgia Tech. I think it's going to be closer.
Yeah, got to give me the Rambling Wreck.
I'll go Notre Dame. I think they're starting to find their footing a little bit. Beat up on a bad Stanford team, but I think they're starting to right the ship after their early season struggles. Going back to the Big Ten, UCLA traveling to Piscataway, New Jersey to take on the Rudiger Scarlet Knights. Greg Schiano and the Scarlet Knights are 4.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I'll take Rutgers. UCLA is a bad team, and that's a far trip. Far.
Yeah, feels like the cross-country trips tend to be auto losses, so I'll go Rutgers.
I am in lockstep with you guys, and UCLA is just not good. So I'm a little surprised Rutgers is not favored by more, which is giving me a little cause to pause. But I'm going with Rutgers. Sticking in the Big Ten, Wisconsin -7 at Northwestern.
I guess I'll go Badgers. I don't really know much about either team this year.
It's at Northwestern?
Yep.
I'll take Northwestern to cover. The Badgers I just don't think they're that good.
I don't think either team is, and that's about all I know about them. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Badgers. I think this is one where if you're Luke Fickell, you've got to just win this game by a fair amount. Florida State at Duke. Obviously, a tough year for the Seminoles. Duke is favored by 3.
Yeah, Duke at home. I'll take Duke.
Give me the semis.
Tempted, but it's Duke at home. Yeah.
I'm riding with Nick here. I think this is a game where the talent is just better on one side, and at 1-4, they have to win. And if they don't, then they're going to probably lose the rest of the games. So I'm going to go with Florida State. Unranked Auburn traveling to Missouri to take on the 19th ranked Tigers. Missouri favored by 4.5.
Tigers. Missouri.
I know.
Yeah, they're both Tigers. I was waiting for you. I was waiting for somebody to say it. Auburn's a very bad team this year. So.
Yeah, I'm going to do the not Peyton Thorne team.
Yep, I'm going to side with you guys there. I'll take Drinkowitz and the Missouri Tigers to take that one with the points. Colorado coming off a tough loss against Kansas State. They hung around, kept it close. Travels to Arizona to take on the Wildcats. Wildcats are favored by 3.
Yeah, I'm going to take Arizona at home.
Is Travis Hunter hurt?
Sounds like he's playing.
I'll go Colorado.
I'm going to go Colorado as well. All right, one more game before we get to the big one. Lions traveling to Minnesota to take on the Purple People Eaters, the Vikings. This line has moved a couple times. The Vikings are favored by 2.
Don't like that. Lions, baby. Coming off a big win. There's going to be a big trade before the game. Let's go.
I take it that means you're going with the Lions.
Forward down the field.
Yeah.
I'm riding with you guys. Forward down the field, baby. All right, the granddaddy of them all, the Iowa Hawkeyes, travel to the banks of the Red Cedar in East Lansing, Michigan on homecoming weekend. Michigan State coming off a bye, ready to get back on the field and put on a show for the Spartan faithful. Iowa coming in as a 5.5-point favorite. Travis, will start with you. Obviously, as we always do, the score.
Yeah. I may sound a little crazy. I always do. So I am going to say Spartans 20, Iowa 17.
Spartans 26, Iowa 10.
Damn.
Wow.
Big performance.
Would love both outcomes. I think this is going to be a similar game to what we're used to seeing between these two teams. Defense is going to be the story of the game. I'm going Spartans 17, Iowa 13.
And now that just means Iowa's going to win. We all picked State.
Yeah, it's a mission.
We picked State.
Yeah. Hey,
on game day,
who else are we going to pick?
Iowa.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we all picked Oregon and Ohio State. Oh, they also won. So never mind.
I mean, your point about game day, the universe is all about balance, and we're just balancing.
That's right. Someone's got to do it. That will do it for episode number 38 of the Spartan Savants podcast. Check us out on X, formerly Twitter, wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Podcasts, wherever it may be. And, of course, on YouTube, subscribe.
Also Instagram.
Instagram, yes. I knew I was missing one. Follow us on Instagram as well. And check out the podcast, the Iowa Preview podcast with the 12 Saturdays guys. Great guys, some good laughs, and some good Iowa football insight.
Yeah.
But that'll do it for me, Willy, Nick, and Travi. We'll see you next week. Go green.
Go subscribe. Go white.
Go white.